Yes, indeed. It is Triple Threat Wrestling Radio live right here on Ustream.tv. It is Friday, June 21st, 2013. And yes, the spring season is over. It is the first day of the summer season. So, with that said, happy summer to everybody. And we hope that you had a pretty good last day of spring and first day, well, actually off to a good start in the summer season thus far. My name is Kenny C. I'm your host. You're going to be joining me for the next hour. Throughout the show, going to be recapping the TNA baseball show from Lexington, Payback, um, Raw main event Impact, which kicked off the 2013 Bound for Glory series, and it was also open fight night as well. And of course, SmackDown, which just went off the air moments ago. If you are living on the East Coast, so much to get into. And tonight, I will be joined by Daryl Bruff, who is, at least for this last weekend, the owner of Magnificent Ladies Wrestling. This is his final tapings as the official owner. After this tapings are concluded this weekend, Magnificent Ladies Wrestling will be belonging to the Queen of Destruction and former Triple Threat Wrestling Radio guest Destiny. So, looking forward to talking to Daryl about the past, present, and the future of Magnificent Ladies Wrestling. Now, I want to talk about the TNA Base Brawl show, which was this past Saturday evening in the Whitaker Bank Ballpark. And for the record, it was my first ever TNA show that I went to. It was also the first wrestling show outdoors that I attended. It was a lot of fun, and it was expensive. I'm going to get to the expensive part in just a moment. But I would say the overall experience, it was a lot of fun. The atmosphere was crazy. I did get a chance to see a lot of wrestlers. I did purchase a ringside ticket, which means I had a meet and greet with some of the wrestlers beforehand. The wrestlers that was at the meet and greet were Kenny King, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Chris Sabin, Knockouts champion Mickey James, and Garrett Bischoff of the Aces and Eights. And then, prior to those that had a ticket to the ringside, and of course those that came in, that got to go to Elite Time, who got tickets outside of the ringside, it was announced that if you purchase action figure of Mr. Anderson Kurt Angle collective pack, not only you get a chance to get an autograph, but you get a picture of him. Now, I was only able to get a picture with Kurt Angle. Shook his hand. I said congrats on being inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. Of course, he'll be inducted this coming October in San Diego, part of Bound for Glory weekend. Now, here are the results. By the way, I was fortunate to meet the Icon Sting. I purchased the VIP bundle, which included a bat, autographed action figure, gloves, which I think is too small for me, a mask, a T-shirt, and a picture. It was a lot of fun. Here are your results from the Lexington, Kentucky baseball show. X Division champion Chris Sabin retained his X Division title against Kenny King. Knockouts champion Mickey James retained her Knockouts title against a one-legged Velvet Sky. AJ Styles defeated Garrett Bischoff. My favorite match of the night, James Storm and Gunner retained the tag team titles over Austin Aries and Bobby Roode. Jeff Hardy defeated Mr. Anderson in the main event. Sting and Kurt Angle defeated Aces and Eights members Devon and world champion Bully Ray. Again, it was a fun show. It was expensive as well. Let me tell y'all something. For those who plans to attend to a TNA show at some point, maybe this year, maybe next year, I've been fortunate to not only been to a WWE shows, a WWE pay-per-view. Now I can say I attended a TNA show. Here's the difference between TNA and WWE house shows. You see, WWE has the autograph section. It's just not in, like, for example, Lexington. It's not going to be a Rupp Arena. And WWE, they do stadiums. They do big air arenas. TNA, they've been doing this baseball concept for a couple of years now. I believe this is their 4th year. They're gonna be doing shows on minor league baseball stadiums, and thanks to the fact that I was able to go to the show, by the time the end of the show, me and many other fans was awarded with a free ticket, with a free voucher to any Lexington Legend home game this season. Now, I haven't been to a Lexington Legend game in over a decade, so obviously I'm gonna hope to go to one in sometime in July, maybe post 4th of July weekend. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But it was fun. It was a fun and expensive. You see, TNA do things in the fly. Okay, for example, people already knew about the Sting VIP bundle. People already knew about the ringside seats. Okay, now obviously I think someone must have went to TNA. I think Jimmy J, Mr. TNA shop himself, and asked them, if there's gonna be like an intermission meet and greet, and it turned out that it was, and you had to pay $50 for that. Now I've already paid $65 for the ringside seat. I paid $150 plus for the Sting VIP bundle. Have I known about this quote unquote intermission meet and greet, I probably would have added a couple bucks before I went to the Whitaker Bank ballpark. But I was $10 short, so I was unable to meet the likes of a Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray, Devon, AJ Styles, among other TNA talent. And then after the show ended, people had a chance to have a picture taken inside the TNA wing with Sting. Now, I've already got my picture took with Sting pre-show. It was, we're talking Sting before the face mask. He was walking the UK Sting shirt. Took a lot of pictures. You can go to my Facebook fan page and check them out. I had a good time, but here's the thing. If you plan to go to a TNA show, whether it's baseball show, whether it's a house show, or whether it's a live show, you better bring some extra bucks just in case. You better bring some extra bucks. So I'll just leave it at that. It was fun and expensive. I'll leave it at that. Now, let's go ahead and recap Payback, the debut pay-per-view of WWE from this past Sunday in Chicago, Illinois. We start off with the Payback kickoff match between Damien Sandow versus Sheamus. Sheamus and Sandow been going at it through mental challenges, and finally they put all that mumbo jumbo stuff to the side and focus on the match itself. Of course, Sheamus will go on to pick up the victory. Also, on to the official pay-per-view event itself. A couple of titles have changed hands. One of the titles that changed hands was the Divas Championship. Caitlyn into the match, very emotional after AJ and Biggie pretty much embarrassed her on national television. Now, Caitlyn's been having this whole secret admirer thing for weeks now, and it turned out to be Biggie, and Biggie just act like he was going to kiss her, and then just shoved her right into the middle of the ring. AJ comes out, goes on, embarrasses her, and then all hell breaks loose. And Caitlyn, did you see the spear she did on AJ? I'm surprised that wasn't a holy shit chant. But, I thought it should. And AJ's like 100 pounds. Caitlyn, I keep calling her a mini powerhouse, and she definitely lived up to that when she went for that spear on AJ. And then she let emotion got into the way, and AJ went for the Black Widow submission, made her submit, and she walks out of Chi-Town with her first ever Divas Championship. At the end, Caitlyn, and Chicago is a hard crowd, and just one of those crowds that is gonna find itself cheering for the baby. How often, when a babyface loses a championship by submission, and the crowd chants "You tap out"? Talk about insult to injury. Dean Ambrose goes up to defeat Kane by count out, but a win's a win, I guess. Ambrose got brought to him by Kane, and he's just unable to get it done. The emotional moment, considering this past Sunday was Father's Day, Curtis Axel, talk about a odd way, a very unorthodox way to win your first championship, let alone the Intercontinental title. Miz put Barrett in a figure 4 leg lock, and then Curtis Axel knows the situation at hand, pins Wade Barrett, shoulders are down. Miz unable to break the submission hold and break the 3 count in time, and with an assist by Miz, Curtis Axel on Father's Day, the grandson of Larry the Axe Handle, the son of WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Hennig, aka Mr. Perfect. That was definitely an emotional moment, and for his first championship to be a title that his father once held, You believe in the Paul Heyman guy now? Now, granted, circumstances took advantage of a situation, but a win is a win, and you know it was a bittersweet moment. You know he had to stay in character, but you can understand, man. He went backstage, shedding tears, wins the Intercontinental title, speaking to his dad up above, and I'm sure that Kurt Hennig is smiling and very proud of his son to win his first championship at a pay-per-view nonetheless. What can I say? It was a perfect night for Curtis Axel. Also, you also have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins against Team Arcano. Well, that's not what they were called when they entered the ring, but Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan. Friction, of course. And it's pretty clear Daniel Bryan's been hell-bent on wanting to prove that he's not the weak link. You know, the only thing missing in this whole weakest link angle is that Ann Robinson, the legendary host of the weakest link, would have just popped in from out of nowhere and just say to Daniel Bryan, dang it, with that British accent of hers, Daniel Bryan, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But those two just couldn't get along. Reigns and Rollins prevail as the champions, retaining the belt. Then you got Alberto Del Rio versus Zack Ryder. Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler. The long-awaited first title defense for Mr. Show-Off himself. Now, a couple of weeks ago, he announced that he was medically cleared to compete. Del Rio won his title opportunity when he made Jack Swagger quit at Extreme Rules. And Del Rio, knowing the situation, knowing that this dude is just weeks removed from being quote-unquote medically cleared to compete, the same Alberto Del Rio, or the same Dolph Ziggler, who cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase on a one-legged Alberto Del Rio. And the beating he took from Jack Swagger, and with that swagger lock or ankle lock, whatever you want to call it, it was something that Del Rio would never forget. But Del Rio now got his redemption. You should see the amount of shots that Dolph Ziggler took on the head. The kicks especially. Man, Dolph Ziggler took so much shots to the head. I'm beginning to think we're about to have a Triple H situation when the doctors just say shut it down. There comes a point when you just gotta fight another day. And the doctors asked Dolph Ziggler, referees even asked him, do you want to continue? He said yes. He went back in, continued to take shot after shot after shot to the head. And, you know, that comes, and Dolph Ziggler fans are definitely devastated. Here's a guy who finally wins back the world title. Unfortunately, suffered a concussion, has to wait a month before being medically cleared, finally gets his first title defense, and he loses the title. Well, look at the black side there, Dolph Ziggler. Your title reign this time around lasted a lot longer than the first. Now, you just got to find a way to win it back. And I just love how Alberto Del Rio trying to get the crowd on his side, but Chicago crowd was just not having it. And who would have thought that would have led to what have happened on Monday night? the reaction that Dolph Ziggler got on Monday night. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But I don't know. Do you give kudos to Ziggler for not quitting? Or do you think maybe he should have just fought another day? You lose the title, you got to think of your health. Sometimes you got to save wrestlers from themselves, people. Saw what happened to Triple H with Curtis Axel. 24 hours removed at the Brock Lesnar match. No way he was able to continue with that match, so it was not a good look. John Cena versus Ryback for the WWE title. 3 stages of hell. The first stage was a lumberjack match. Ryback won that one. And let's just say John Cena, you see, say what you want about John Cena, but when it comes to the pay-per-views, every now and then, Cena is going to do a move that you least expect. He did this like a high flying maneuver off the top rope. It's considering that Payback was at Chicago, Illinois. The only thing that was missing is his tongue sticking out like Michael Jordan. That would have been the icing on the cake. But that was incredible. That was gutsy. That was very gutsy. You don't see... The only time you see John Cena at the top rope is when he's going for that leg drop. Maybe the last time Cena did a move like that, maybe early in his career, when he wasn't all that built and whatnot, he would have pulled that move. But Cena today, you're not going to see him doing that very often. And then the second fall was a tables match. And Cena, put the AA on him. Attitude adjustment through a table. And then the third stage, an ambulance match. For weeks leading up to Payback, Ryback has beaten people down and sent people through the ambulance, sending a message to WWE Champion. Well, let's just say that Cena had a message of his own towards the human wrecking ball. You see, they were on top of the ambulance. And he added to and I guess the rules are you have to put your opponent into the ambulance. There was a part of the match when I think Cena was trying to put Ryback in the driver's seat. That didn't work out so well. And then I believe both guys tried to put each other in the back of the ambulance. That didn't go well for neither. But Cena found another way. An attitude adjustment from the top of the ambulance. And you talk about leaving a mark. Cena left the mark. And then some. He went on to win the last 2 stages and goes on to retain the WWE Champion. And as of SmackDown, haven't seen or heard from Ryback ever since. But he definitely will be back on Raw next week. And after all does, Ryback still finds himself in the WWE title picture. There has been a lot of talk about the in-ring return of CM Punk. While he's been recovering from injuries and supporting his Chicago Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and now they are playing in the championship of the Stanley Cup finals, CM Punk made his return, and he wore, and Punk loves to wear the hoodies, and he wore the hoodie that in the back it reads Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and that happens to be a company that former WWE diva Eve Torres, she has a female program with that company, So obviously, maybe CM Punk made some appearances there, and not only that, CM Punk represented his Chicago Blackhawks by wearing their colors on his trunks. He had his own logo matched with the Blackhawk colors. And if you read CM Punk's tweets, CM Punk look he could be sarcastic on Twitter at times, but dude was just tweeting like a fan, like an analyst, like an announcer. CM Punk he's very passionate about hockey. Who knows? Maybe he could have been a Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin if wrestling thing knocked on his door. But according to an interview, CM Punk said that his skating skills are not that good. So it's definitely a wise choice that he chose wrestling, and he hasn't looked back since. But what a match it was between Jericho and Punk. What a battle it was indeed. Jericho embraced the heel, and he embraced the booze, focused on the task at hand. He's trying to beat CM Punk for the first time ever. And there was a point of the match when Paul Heyman almost cost CM Punk the match. Those two battled it out, went at it back and forth, and they pulled a show for the ages. CM Punk pretty much letting people know he pretty much put the WWE roster on notice. He's back, and he's better than ever. So clearly he's over the Undertaker defeat at WrestleMania. He goes on to pick up the victory in his hometown, Chicago. You're not going to have a guy who calls himself the best in the world come back after a 7 week off of ring competition and lose to Chris Jericho. Just not happening. It was a hell of a match, but no way Punk was losing that match. Especially when he's walking the Blackhawk colors. Come on. But the big story of Payback is the return of Rob Van Dam. We heard the reports, the rumors that Ryback will be coming back to WWE. It was just a matter of when he will be making his in-ring return. Well, thanks to a 45-second promo, we now know that at next month's pay-per-view, Rob Van Dam makes his return, WWE in-ring return, to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And what a shocker. That will be taking place in the birthplace of ECW. That will be Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So RVD making his return. And remember, he's a former Money in the Bank winner. So you can expect him to be a contestant in one of those two Money in the Bank matches. We definitely shall see. I'm about to go ahead and give Daryl a call. Talk about some Magnificent Ladies Wrestling. So give me just a second, y'all. I'm about to give Daryl a call.
Hello?
Hey, this is Kenny at Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Kenny. How in the world are you doing?
I'm doing real good, and thank you for joining me this evening right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
Glad to do it. Glad to do it, young man.
Well, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you on a great run for Magnificent Ladies Wrestling. I've been a late bloomer, been a fan of the company for a couple of years, And for people may or may not know, the interviews I've done for Chilling with Jeff and Kenny C, and for this show, Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, if you go to the website magnificentladieswrestling.com and check out some of the profiles of the female wrestlers, chances are you're going to hear an interview from yours truly. And I want to thank Marcus. He's the one that put the interviews on the wrestler's profile. So I want to thank you and Marcus for your support on both shows. And again, congrats to a great one, man.
Thank you very much. It's been a nice 5.5 years, and no complaints, no regrets. And you're right, Marcus has done a fantastic job getting those up. Many of the girls have been on your show, and every one of them has talked about how good a show it was to be on.
So before we get into the future of Magnificent Ladies Wrestling, let's get into the past and present. Because like I said,
Okay.
I was a late bloomer on the company, um, and it was known as Memphis Ladies Wrestling before Magnificent. And what made you decide to put together a woman custom wrestling company? How did that all came about?
Well, I guess I have to give credit to Lexi Fight and Slamming Ladies. I knew she was doing it in Florida, and I kept hearing a lot of guys say that, they wanted the old stuff. They wanted the 70s and 80s, early 90s look. And we just took the idea that what she done, and she does a great job, don't misunderstand me, but kind of rolled it back 15, 20 years and bring in the one-piece suits, the full-fledged tights, dancers like tights as I call them, wrestling boots, not shoes, not kick pads, even though we do have some that have done that. Really just wanted to go back to the old look, and it's been very successful, far more successful than we ever dreamed when it first happened.
And you've had a chance to work with some of the biggest names in women's wrestling, former WWE divas, former TNA knockouts, and some of the top caliber female wrestlers. I mean, Sarah Del Rey, Amber O'Neil. I mean, we could go on forever with the list of names that worked for Magnificent. Uh, and is there any female wrestler that you was unable to get into the company that you wanted to work with? There's anyone that stood out that you missed out or just didn't have an opportunity to work with?
Um, yeah, and to be honest, I can't think right now of exactly who that was. I know there's two or three that we did want to get in here that we never were able to. Laura Lee was actually one of them. We never could work it out with her. It seemed like something always happened. God, man, let me think on that, and we'll come back to that question before the interview's over.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
got me on that one. You caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that question.
I mean, it. I mean, you work with a lot of people, man, and I'm sure there's fans out there that's like, wow, man, there's this one person here and there, but nonetheless, the people you already got, sensational stuff, man. I mean, I've purchased probably I don't want to maybe 40, 50 videos over the last couple of years. I've also purchased some of the old stuff, the Memphis Ladies Wrestling stuff as well. Um, and I gotta say, man, Magnificent and Slamming Ladies, I'm a fan of both. Y'all the top two companies when it comes to the custom women's wrestling. It's a cool concept, and let's face it, wrestling. We watch this the stuff on TV, or watch the stuff on YouTube, and it just got us thinking like, man, what would have happened if I was a booker, if a fan was a booker, to pick the match, pick the opponents, pick the type of match, stipulation, things like that. and you
Right.
and Slamming Ladies. I mean, there's some companies that's on the rise, but right now it's Magnificent and Slamming Ladies, and there's everybody else. I mean, y'all like the Mount Rushmore of custom women wrestling right now, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun, man.
Well, thank you. And I will say this. My friend up in the Northeast, I'm proud of what he's accomplished. I believe it's New England Female Wrestling.
Yes, yes.
He is coming on and great guy, and I like the stuff he's doing. And we've been friends. Matter of fact, me and him corresponded a lot before he even got started in it. And I kind of tried to give him some tips to help him. And I noticed his next shoot, he's got 15 girls coming in, which I think is a record for him. So undoubtedly, he's doing the right things too. And with him and Destiny taking over Magnificent Ladies Wrestling and then Slamming Ladies, you'll have three great companies out there for people to get what they want. Because I know they're not getting it on Monday night, and they're not getting it on Thursday night, and they're not getting it on Friday night. It's just not happening.
And the thing is, the Destiny situation. I mean, here we are. A lot of fans, including myself, thought that. I mean, after June 22nd, there's no more tapings, and then out of nowhere, Destiny comes in and say, "I'll take it," and I'm sure this is something that people wants to know. Did you reach out to Destiny? Did she reach out to you as far as her being now the new owner of the company?
Uh, we actually have been talking since I accepted my new position with this new company and moved to Texas, and we've been talking and I guess it's really 50-50. She's wanted it all along. She just wasn't sure how she was going to do it, set it up where she was going to do it at. And I think the pieces to the puzzle fell together for her, and she come to us, I guess, about the last taping in May and says, "I want it." I said, "Well, it's yours," because I think it's great that Destiny's going to take it and run with it. Number one, she's a worker, and she knows better than anybody how people think in the ring and how they think outside the ring, and I think she'll do a great job. And we're very proud for her. We're going to help her get started. My phone will be 24 hours a day for her if she has any questions. We're actually working with her this weekend on the taping, different things, how to convert the downloads, how to convert to DVDs, and we're really excited. She has a heart as big as the state of Texas, wants to do a great job, wants to continue the tradition of what we've done, and I'm really proud of her stepping up and taking the company and going to run with it.
Now, now that she's going to be in charge, come after this weekend, she's going to have her first tapings in July next month. And y'all two have talked briefly about this. What what's the advice that you gave her now that she's in charge? Now that she's keeping the ship rolling. What was your what's your advice to her as she is now going to be the new owner?
Well, in the custom business, one thing I know, and I've been in the food business all my life. There's number one thing, no matter what you do, and that's customer service. And customer service don't mean just mailing their DVD the next day. It means everything. It means listening to them. We've sent out surveys and questionnaires over the year. What do you like about our company? What do you not like? What would you do different if you were in charge? And the biggest thing is I've told her is do not lose focus of who's doing, providing the money, and that's the customer. Do not ever lose that focus. If they want a serious type match, don't have them, girls in the ring cutting jokes and all that. Do what the customer wants, and that's one thing I will say. We're pretty strict on that. If they want it done this way, we do it that way because they're paying for it. It's their match, their opponents, and they want it. No, it's no different. You go to McDonald's, you order Big Mac and you say I don't want any pickles on it, when you get your Big Mac and it's got pickles on it, what happens? You get upset. Well, it's the same way when they get a DVD or a download and the match is missing 5 moves or holds they asked for or 2 minutes short than what it's supposed to. We didn't do our job, and I've told her, do not ever lose focus of the customer.
That's a very good analogy, man. I mean, custom wrestling is definitely like going to a restaurant. You know, you gotta when you order something, make sure it's on point, make sure exactly where what it is, and and let me just say, as a satisfied customer, every time I purchase videos, they are emailed to me like in seconds. I'm like, wow, that is quick. So, people,
Yeah.
please go to magnificentladieswrestling.com and purchase the videos. Over 1,100 videos and counting. And what I want to ask you is about the match between Nikki Lane and Arkansas Terror, and I believe it's download number 1153. And for those that purchase it, all the proceeds goes to a legend in the business, George Grable. Talk about that match, and for people that's not aware of her situation.
Well, I actually, Nikki Lane and the Arkansas Terrier has had a feud now for, God, I guess almost 2 years. And they actually come up with the idea. They're stewards of wrestling, I guess, for no other better words, or fans of it, or marks, if you want to use that word, of wrestling. And they love and they appreciate what Joyce done. And they did the match at no cost. I mean, nobody paid them a penny. They did it on their own, and asked that all the proceeds from the match go to Joyce. And so once a month, and matter of fact, it's time to do it right now, is mail Joyce a check for the month, the last month, where all the money, 100%. We don't even keep a penny. We if we sell it for $12.99, Joyce gets all $12.99 of each match, just to try to help do something to help her with her medical bills. And I got to give props to the Terror and Nikki Lane for coming up with that idea. They had one hell of a match, and Joyce managed Nikki Lane in the match. Finally beat the Terror. She's only beat him twice now, but she did beat him on that match. And then afterwards, how the Terror is. What can I say?
Yeah,
But anyway, that money is donated or given to Joyce each month, and I don't know that Destiny's going to continue doing that. I need to ask her, but she was there that night and she knows what we're doing, and I'm sure she probably will, just to help continue supporting Joyce. And by the way, we got a good report. Joyce's treatments are going good in Atlanta. I'm gonna throw that in right now too.
that is great news to hear that she's doing and she's recovering very well. Everybody, please keep Joyce Grable in your thoughts and prayers as she continues the battle. Um, I've been a fan of her for quite a while now, and she's definitely a legend in the business. She cares about this business, and the download, great calls. I mean, Nikki, Terror, they put it together. I haven't had a chance to purchase the match yet, but I will eventually. Uh, Again, that's download number 1153, Arkansas Terror versus Nikki Lane, and that is at magnificentladieswrestling.com. Go check it out. And if you can, people, go to the Facebook fan page and check out who's going to be included in the July tapings. It has already been announced. Destiny is already confirmed. Not only she's the owner, but she still will be doing matches as well. So she's doing double duty going
Yes,
forward.
good.
So she's taking over. It is some. Um, I
She's
want.
going to be a great owner, and I think my wife Susan and I both think that she's going to take this thing to levels we never had a chance to, because she is dedicating 100% of her time. Where I had a 50 to 60 to 70 hour a week job and was doing this on the side, she's dedicating 100% of her time to it. So I can I can see it now. 2 years from now, I'm gonna look back and smile real big and say, "I'm proud of you, girl."
Absolutely. And not only has Magnificent got the big names, but you made household names of your own as well. Million Dollar Baby, Little Bit, Destiny. The list goes on and on. You've also made some big, household names for Magnificent. So not only you get the big names, but you got some household names of your own. So uh, definitely remember Magnificent Ladies Wrestling. It's not going anywhere. Go to the Facebook fan page, find out how you can uh, send a tape in, a custom in, a script in for the July tapings. Jesse Bell's going to be there. Destiny, Paris Kelly, who I interviewed just last week. She's a sweetheart. She's going to be in the tapings tomorrow as well. So, and I'm going to go ahead and let you go because I know you got a busy weekend ahead of you. It's going to be emotional as well. Thank you for being on the show. And thank you for the support as always, man. And congratulations on 5.5 years, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the interview, and continue good luck to you and your radio show also.
Thank you, sir. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye bye. That was our guest of the evening, Daryl Bruff of Magnificent Ladies Wrestling. He is doing his final tapings as the owner this weekend, and after the weekend is concluded, Destiny will be taking over. Big up to Daryl, very cool dude. And I guess if there's ever a time to interview him, it will be this weekend. So, a lot of fun with the dude. Let's go ahead and recap Monday Night Raw here. Let's see here. Try not to lose place here. So, Vicky Guerrero. Let's recap Monday Night Raw real quick. Vicky Guerrero had a surprise. And the surprise turned out to be the return of Captain Charisma Christian. Went up against Ray Barrett. And Captain Charisma picked up the victory. Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. And the fans voted that to be a no DQ match. And Daniel Bryan took a beating in the match, which led to Randy Orton winning that match. Referee stopped it. I believe Bryan suffered a stinger. And it was later confirmed that it was Triple H that put a stop to the match. And I find it interesting that Triple H, of all people, considering about a few weeks ago, Night After Extreme Rules, he has a match against Curtis Axel. And the match had to stop because he was unable to continue with the match. Interesting stuff. Then you got AJ and Stephanie confrontation. Gosh, Stephanie still looks good. She does. And I mean that's AJ, she's crazy. Look, AJ's crazier than Stephanie McMahon. I'm gonna just put it out there. AJ is just in a whole different stratosphere right now. But Stephanie, she can get down and dirty if she wants to. Much love. Hell, Money in the Bank. Since she got all these people coming back, hey, I'm all for AJ versus Stephanie. But Stephanie's, she's the wrestling thing. She's done with that. She's front office lady. Antonio Cesaro has now aligned himself with Zeb Coulter. Goes on to defeat William Regal. Jericho goes on to defeat Heath Slater. Curtis Axel defeated Sin Cara. And CM Punk, Paul Heyman tension continues. Let me tell you something. And let me get to that in just a moment. Let me get to the conclusion of that in a moment. But Mark Henry may pull the best promo of his WWE career. And hell, I ain't gonna lie. He got me. And I'm sure he got a lot of you too. acting like he was gonna retire. Wanted Cena. I guess once the moment he said he told Cena to stay put, something was gonna go down. Okay. Now, Mark Henry may not have lived up to a big contract. He may not live up to being that, Hall of Fame status. He may not live up to a contract. He may not live up. He may have had his ups and downs. But what I respect about WWE is that they kept him around. They believe he's gonna still do some things. He's a former European champion, ECW champion. He's a former World Heavyweight champion. And now, with the World's Strongest Slam on Cena. Now, remember the last time Mark Henry was seen in the ring was Extreme Rules when he lost a strap match he lost a strap match to Sheamus. So Mark Henry is back, and let's just say he hopes to induct John Cena into the Hall of Pain and become the first African American, full-fledged African American World Heavyweight Champion. I'm just gonna keep it 100 there. Just keep it 100. Punk versus Del Rio, and what a battle it was. A rivalry renewed. If you recall, it was Survivor Series back in 2011. CM Punk defeated him, which led the beginning of a 434 day as WWE champion. And clearly Del Rio hasn't forgotten about that. Del Rio with a promo to kick off Raw got into a hissy fit, and to tell you the truth, he has a right to get to that hissy fit. After all, Dolph Ziggler took advantage of him cashing out that briefcase, and hell, what Del Rio did, you could say he went too far. First of all, he was medically clear to compete. Once the bell rings, it's all fair game. Del Rio knew with the headshots that he has took that, just can't do it, man. Gotta get the job done. Get the job done. That's what he did. And that led to Punk getting involved. And remember, there was a WWE.com exclusive video in which Punk said, "I'm not your client, I'm your friend. Brock Lesnar needs you. Curtis Axel needs you." He said, "Just be my friend. I'm your friend, I'm not your client." And he took a step further on Monday Night Raw as he was talking to Del Rio. CM Punk was in the mood to fight, and then Paul Heyman was trying to convince him not to get this match with Del Rio. And then not only that, but he told Heyman, "Hey, look, man." He said, "Look, man, I don't need your help no more. Get away from me." He didn't actually say get away from me. What he really said was, "Look, man, my services with you are no longer needed. I'm a big boy. I will always be a Paul Heyman guy. Just let me do my own thing. Ask and you shall receive." I don't think CM Punk wanted to end his match with Del Rio with a count out, but that's what it ended up. But then Del Rio thought he was just going to walk out unharmed, and then some flying blonde dude comes out of nowhere that turned out to be Dolph Ziggler. And then Punk is just celebrating the victory, but that victory was cut short due to a fellow Paul Heyman guy and Brock Lesnar. The last time we saw him, he smashed Triple H in the head with a platinum sledgehammer and beat him at Extreme Rules. And now He had the mic in hand, acted like he was gonna talk, and in the end, he gave him the F5. And let's just say he didn't take too kind of Punk saying that he's no longer needed. You don't turn your back on Paul Heyman guy or not. You align yourself with Paul Heyman. You don't turn your back on Paul Heyman. Now, the question is, did Paul Heyman have anything to do with Brock Lesnar getting into the ring and hitting with the F5? Hopefully, we'll have some answers next Monday night on Raw. Now, on to recapping main event. The Shield defeated the Usos of Justin Gabriel. Antonio Cesaro defeated Sin Cara. And Caitlyn defeated Oksana. Then it was the opening fight night of TNA last night. Not only that, but it was the first night of the Bound for Glory series. Hulk Hogan went on to announce the last two entries into the BFG series. It turns out to be the last two winners, Bobby Roode and Jeff Hardy. We get to the Bound for Glory series matches. It was Joseph Park versus Mr. Anderson. Anderson wins by pinfall. He gets 7 points. And how about the young up-and-comer gut check winner, Jay Bradley, calling out Austin Aries? He pushed A-Double to the limit, but A-Double pulls through with the victory. By pinfall, he gets 7 points. Hernandez, Super Mex, the veteran, called out Christopher Daniels, but with help from Kazarian. Daniels picks up the victory. By pinfall, he gets 7 points. Brooke Hogan with the knockout state of the Ewan addressed. And after a year plus of being the quote-unquote knockout tag team champion, finally, ODB and Eric Young are no longer the tag team champions. And they say, the hell with the titles, let's just kiss and make out. So either the knockout tag team titles are vacated or they're just retired. Let's just hope that they are retired. They are irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. Now, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles battle to a draw. They both end up with 2 points each. The main event is Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Roode. In the end, the creature of the creatures defeated the It Factor. That will give Hardy 7 points. So here's what your scoreboard looks like after the first night of Bound for Glory series. Jeff Hardy, Mr. Anderson, Austin Aries, Christopher Daniels with 7 points each. Joe and Styles with 2 points each. Now on to the last segment here. Remember, Sting last week on Impact revealed that he's going to bring back the main event Mafia. He's going to have his own family. Well, we find out who's going to be part of MEM 2.0 when Bully Ray wanted to bring Brooke Hogan back to the ring. Let's just say you didn't get Brooke. You got a dressed up, face paintless Sting. And say hello to the second member of the Main Event Mafia and future TNA Hall of Famer inductee, that will be Kurt Angle. So far, Sting and Kurt Angle are now part of Main Event Mafia. Who will be joining Sting? Who will be joining Angle? I guess we'll find out in the upcoming weeks. And this Bound for Glory series is definitely a good thing. Gonna go on for the summer all the way from June all the way to September. And then of course the Bound for Glory pay-per-view is at October. The winner of the Bound for Glory series will face the world champion. Oh, by the way, Kurt Angle with the ankle lock on Bully Ray as TNA Impact Wrestling went off the air. Now, I'm going to go ahead and recap Friday Night SmackDown. Curtis Axel defeated Ray Barrett to retain the Intercontinental title. Miz was on commentary. Sheamus defeated Cody Rhodes by submission with the Texas Clover Leaf. Sandow went on to attack Sheamus, standing tall. AJ defeated Natalia by submission. Christian defeated 3MB's Drew McIntyre. And there he was. About those 3 words. One more match. Well, let's just say the Shield had other ideas. And remember, the Shield suffered their first loss as a team 2 weeks ago, or last Friday on SmackDown. And they took their frustration on the returning Christian. So, talk about introducing, consider yourself introduced by the Shield Christian. Jericho. Actually, Alberto Del Rio defeated Chris Jericho by DQ because of Ziggler interference. Jericho didn't take too kind to it, so hit him with the cold breaker. And then he took another hit to the head. I mean, I think at some point Dolph Ziggler may need to wear a helmet towards the ring because he's taking way too many shots to the head for my. I mean, this is he even gonna make it to Money in the Bank with the amount of headshots he have took? Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton with the rematch, and no, it did not end because of doctor orders. It was Daniel Bryan came back, redeemed himself, and picked up the victory, although by a countout. But he didn't want the match to end that way. He wanted the match to be restarted. The referee refused. Daniel Bryan goes off on his yes/no tirade as SmackDown goes off the air. And ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude Triple Threat Wrestling Radio of the evening. I want to thank Daryl Bruff for joining me this evening. Have a great last weekend as the owner of Magnificent Ladies Wrestling. Go to Magnificent Ladies Wrestling for more info. Check it out. Next week gonna be joined with Jai Cody of the Shot of Kings, Indie Pro Wrestler. I'm starting to get the interviews lined up in July, so keep an eye on that. And next week on the show, we're gonna recap SmackDown. Well, actually, Raw, Main Event, Impact, and SmackDown, and an interview with Jai Cody. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And yes, Chilling with Jeff and Kenny C is back on the air tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on tmvcafe.com. I'm your host, Kenny C, and I'm out. You all have a good night. Have a great first day of summer. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Saturday, 10 East, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Ustream.tv. Again, it's Kenny C, and I'm out.